Sono collegata? Il numero telefonico della Germania, della America ne? No. Sono collegata? Non lo so. Si stanno preparando. Vado di là in camera che così sono più tranquilla.
Mamma, 20 secondi. Velocissimo.
Ho fatto la ricarica, ricordami stasera.
Sì.
Hey, Veronica.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I gotta pull up our Google Doc.
Hello. Welcome, new friends. Elda, I think you just friended me on Facebook. Is that true?
What?
I think you just friended me on Facebook. Is that...
Yes.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Hold on. I'm going to take care of some more Facebook people.
Sure.
Hi, Elda.
Hey, how are you, Stephen?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm so happy I could make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is everything in Mexico?
Oh, well, kind of chaotic, but but I mean, here in my city, in Monterrey, is one of the cities that has more people sick, with the and more contagious. But everything seems to be, under control. We are all in quarantine. Everything is suspended. We're hanging in there.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds the same as Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Everybody's locked down. We can get out for groceries and we can take a walk in the park, but we're not doing much more than that.
Yeah, likewise. And here the thing is that the public educational system doesn't have the infrastructure to put everything online quickly.
Right.
So for elementary schools and junior highs is a big chaos.
Yeah, it's not too much better in Pittsburgh, honestly, with the public schools. The private schools are fine, but the public schools are loose. Hi, Annabelle. It's so nice to see you. If you want to talk, Annabelle, you'll have to unmute yourself, and then you could. Actually, I can unmute you. There, Annabelle, you're unmuted. So if you talk, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
And Annabelle, if you tip your camera down a little bit, it'll put your face in the middle of the screen. Perfect.
Good.
Yes. Do you see Elda is here?
Yes.
Hey, Annabelle, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Okay, this is a new one for me.
Yeah, you're doing great. We still have almost 10 minutes till we're going to really get going.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Everybody can.
So how many people are actually attending these meetings?
Veronica might know the number better than me. More than 25 at a time.
Oh, great.
There's 100 people on the mailing list. So I think some people are watching the recordings and other people are just hoping that they can make it to one of the meetings coming up.
Yeah, and that mailing list is brand new. That's not imported from anywhere. We just started with like 10 people that we knew were talking about these ideas, and then everybody has just told their friends, and so people have to sort of request to be on this particular mailing list. This is not the Carnegie Mellon list, and it's not the DSA list. It's just the people who want to talk about virtual teaching.
Okay.
So, yeah, and there's a lot of sort of old friends that we see popping up, and then all sorts of new people that that I've never met. So welcome to everybody who's new coming in.
Hey.
We still have just under 10 minutes till we'll really get started. So we're just all saying hi for a minute.
Okay, I might have to leave early, Stephen.
That's fine. 100%.
If you notice that I go, it's just I have to go. Yeah.
We get it. We totally get it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
Do I see Veronica?
Yep.
Hi, Dr. Joseph. It's nice to see you.
See you.
Thank you for joining us. This is an unexpected surprise. Unexpected surprise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm trying.
We all are. You might be interested to know that Christine Hedden is my roommate, and she is currently practicing some Irish dance in the room next door. But she always speaks of you very fondly, and sometimes we say hello.
Well, I speak very fondly of both of you too. And
So,
it's very nice. It's like going through my past life.
yeah, who knows who else will show up in this meeting? It's always a surprise.
Hey, Selma Adam just joined.
Yes, Selma's been with us from the beginning. I think,
Oh,
was in the,
wonderful. Hi, Selma.
oh, Selma, you're on mute.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I joined on the 2nd. I think it's amazing.
Selma,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Selma?
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, nice to see you. We go back a long time.
So for the people who are just joining in, we still have a couple minutes till we're going to actually get started. So we're all just saying hi.
Aldo Nelly. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing all these people.
Yes.
This is wonderful. This is very exciting. I'm so glad you had the names written underneath people's.
Yes. Yeah, that makes it easier.
Yes. Especially as I get older and I can't remember names.
Hey, Vince. There we go. Hi, Vince. Nice to see you. Glad you could join us. Vince, are you in Pittsburgh? You got to unmute.
Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh. We're in Uptown.
Yeah, very good. That's right. You had told me that. Hi, Melissa Tucker. Nice to see you back. You're still muted. Melissa, you're muted. Getting some new people. Monica Wilkinson.
Yay.
You can unmute if you will. Are you in Scotland? Is that where you are?
I'm in my front room. I'm in my music room.
In Scotland.
In Edinburgh. Yeah.
In Edinburgh. Very good. So nice to see you.
So nice to see you too. What a great idea.
It's been working. And Francoise, so wonderful to see you. If you would be willing to tip your camera, your screen down just a little bit, we'll see your whole face. There you go. Beautiful. Now, Francoise, you know you're muted right now. If you want to talk, you'll have to unmute yourself. See? And it looks like Lisa Parker's trying to
Okay, hello everybody.
There you are.
See you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, of course. And so it's 1:28. We're not going to actually start until closer to 1:33 or 1 or so. So we still have a couple minutes just to wave and smile and check your screen settings. Hi, Mary Price.
Hi.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, Mary.
And also you can, if you are in gallery view and you hover over someone and you click the 3 little dots, then you can click chat and then you can message that person privately. So I've been saying hello to a few people just privately so I don't like clog the channels here. But we're all welcome still to call out. Like that's still lovely to hear the connection.
Can I ask, is everybody else sitting down? Because I'm standing up, ready for action.
We're going to do a mixture. The plan today will be a mixture, which we'll talk about here in a couple minutes. But Monica, you should just be as comfortable. So
Wait, I'm ready.
standing or sitting. Yay, Loretta, look at you. Such a good community. Yeah, so Elda, we're up to 29 people today. There's 30.
Great.
So we'll see how many people click in. You know, that we've been discussing the timing of these meetings because so many people are in completely different time zones. And we know that we have colleagues on the other side of the world who this is the middle of the night for them. And so we're you know, we're going to mix it up a little bit as we keep going, but that's been the real blessing of the recording, is that people can watch these after the fact. And we know that we've had a number of people watching later on their time. So we're just trying to mix it up a little bit so that a couple new people maybe can show up each time. All sorts of fun names popping up. We've got some of the Italian contingency here, and Scotland is here, and Canada is here, and many people from the States.
This is pretty amazing.
It's pretty nice. How about it, Annabelle?
Absolutely.
Hi, Mallory. So nice to see you. And Patrick, you and I, we got to talk. I'm sorry. I know you emailed me like a week or two ago. I'm sorry. I owe you a big reply. So Patrick, you and I let's try to meet up here in maybe later today or tomorrow. If you're talking, Patrick, I can't hear you. You got to unmute. Bottom left.
Okay. How do I get seen?
Hi, Lisa. It's so nice to see you. Let me see if I can, sometimes I can do it. Let me see if I can click.
I clicked on start video, but.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Yeah, are you talking to us through a computer or through a phone?
Through a computer.
Well then, I would try again to click that video option. And then
wait a minute. Oh, video.
Yeah, normally in the bottom left of your screen, there would be something about video. So start video, stop
video, but it doesn't work.
Oh, I don't know then.
Oh,
you might try exiting the meeting and then coming back, and maybe it would work better the second time. And otherwise, sometimes it's the person's individual computer that does it.
When it has an arrow, is this the little set of arrows?
Yeah, if you click that,
right?
if you click the little arrow to the right of the video icon, there might be an option to select a camera, and you would choose your built-in camera. So, I'm sorry. We would love to see you. It might be your specific computer.
Might be.
It might be. You can also, under that, so there's the icon of the video in the bottom left, and then to the right of it is a little up arrow. And then inside there's something called video settings. So you might go to your video settings and see if you can adjust it there.
I don't have video settings.
Oh, then I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm not sure how to help at this point. But we should, we can either, I'm happy to meet with you, or any of your students, we can all sort of click in with you at some point and try to troubleshoot outside of the meeting.
That's just important for me to be able to see.
Yeah, it's nice.
But
I can see you.
You have to be sure that you have a camera, you have a webcam.
Yeah,
the computer.
I think she does, because I've Skyped with Lisa before, so we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Let's get started. Let's do the breakout room.
Very good. So everyone, this is Veronica Waleski. Veronica
Hi, everybody.
is a Dalcrozian and a longtime friend and a very talented musician. And Veronica and I were just talking a couple weeks ago about how all sorts of crazy things were happening, and how our specific teaching rooms were being affected by all of the by the move to online. And we put the word out to just a small group of friends who we knew were in a similar position. And that turned into the first of these meetings. And so all we're doing in these settings is noticing that we are not alone, and that we have a great community of colleagues all over the world who are in a very similar position. And we're just trying to share our experience and our ideas. And so there are a number of things that have been covered in the first couple meetings, and all of those videos and some of the notes from those meetings can be found in the Google Doc and the Google Drive. And so we'll post that link again in the chat box. And if you're willing to go to the chat box at the bottom of your screen, if you're able, and just type your name in there. For instance, Gregory Risto is here. And if you would just sort of state that you are here, it makes it easier for us to go back and sort of see if we've, you know, who we worked with and who was around and all of that. It's optional, but we would love it if you would sort of say you were here, and that gives us an easy way to.
Lisa Parker is here.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll type it. We'll type it for you.
He doesn't see anything, but.
Okay, well, I'm going to hand it over to Veronica to explain our next little bit.
Okay, we're gonna put you all in breakout rooms because this is the biggest number we've had so far, 55 people, and we don't have time for everyone to introduce themselves. So you're gonna get put in a room with like 5 to 7 people, and you'll get an invitation that says join breakout room. So if you could go in there and say hello to a couple of friends, and then we'll bring you back in about 3 to 5 minutes. I think Stephen's gonna bring us back from the breakout rooms.
Yep, so here I'm opening the rooms. And so somewhere on your screen, you ought to have a button that says, go to my room. And so if you can find the breakout room button, click it. Wow, that was crazy.
So if you don't want, thank you. We're recording this meeting, so if you don't want to be in the recording, you can just turn off your video and mute yourself. But it is a big service to everyone who can't be here at this time. Thank you for inviting other people. Like, this group has grown only because all of you have invited your friends, and it's exciting to see how many people we're able to connect with. Our next meeting time has changed from what I originally posted. It is now on Tuesday, April 21st, same time as right now. And I'll send out reminders about that. We're looking for topics for our next meeting, though if today's meeting goes well, we might just do more of the same. Also, thanks to a friend in Malaysia who I have never met before. Her name is Charlotte Lang. She took notes on all of our past 3 meetings, and they are detailed, beautiful notes, and it is a huge, huge service that she did for us. So thank you to Charlotte. And then I just keep getting emails like this. This is also great. Thanks to each one of you. One day I hope to join the actual Zoom meeting. So just passing on a message like that. I get many of those. Today's focus is 3 teachers have kindly offered to teach us all an online Eurythmics activity or set of activities. They are Stephen Neely and Jeremy Didis. So I'm not, is he here yet? I hope so. And then Emma Shubin. And I'm gonna time them for 5 minutes and ruthlessly cut them off after 5 minutes, even though these are all teachers I love and respect and admire. And after those 5-minute chunks, we will have a discussion. I just lost control of my screen, but hoping that Stephen can turn that off. Thanks. And so we'll have a discussion, and then there's just a few more topics that have come up about Zoom security and a lovely article that David Bewley shared that I thought could inspire us all. So that's the plan, and I think we're ready for Stephen to start his 5 minutes.
Very good. So, and Veronica, in addition to your article, I have one also new little bit that I think everybody would really appreciate as well. So
Awesome.
It'll be about 2 minutes worth closer to the end. The idea for teaching was that someone, one of our participants last week said, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could do a little bit of teaching to this group? The idea here is less that I'm going to teach you some new bit of musicianship or some new way of thinking. And instead, the idea was we would like to encourage you all to try to participate. And what we're trying to demonstrate and test for ourselves is, what does it feel like to be on the receiving end of these virtual lessons? So I'm not attempting to do anything earth-shattering or particularly special. In fact, I'm trying to do something very common and standard, something very traditional. And if you don't have to, but if you'd be willing or would like to try, we encourage you to stand up and try to find what little space you have. And we note, just like our own students, how probably a couple of you have a very big, gorgeous studio with lots of room to run around. And others of you probably have a teeny space at the bottom of your bed, or a little bit of floor space beside a desk. And that's exactly what our students have. Some of our students have very big rooms, and some of them have extremely small spaces. And I watched my students this week wrestle with big pieces of furniture to try to push them a little bit further to the side. So we just want to demonstrate a little bit and let you, and then I'm excited to try it myself on the receiving end, just let you be the student instead of the teacher for just 5 minutes, or now I probably have 3 minutes left. So the first one I'll ask of you is to conduct. I'll play and you conduct, and that's all. Ready? So I play. And so you start to notice that if you are watching the gallery view, if you have found the little button at the top that lets you see everybody at once, none of us look like we are together. And yet I bet we were. I believe you that you were with me, but we can't use the visual feedback in the same way. And so if I conduct with me just looking, I go in 4. And so no one on the screen looks like they're with me. And yet I believe that you all are lining yourself up with my beat. And that's just useful for us to know. I will sometimes ask students to conduct, but instead of their hand in the screen, put your hand off the screen. Would you try that, please? And so sometimes it's useful to see it, and other times, especially when I've done breakout rooms where I have 2 students working together and I want one student to perform and the other student to conduct along, I'll ask them to conduct outside the screen so that they can feel that they are together, but they don't have to distract their partner. In the gallery view, I don't find it distracting that all of you are conducting at different times. It actually is kind of funny. But it could be distracting for a student or the young student. Would you stand again, and can you just walk the beat? That's all, walk the beat. How about conduct and walk the beat? Would you please walk the beat and clap the echo? Walk the beat, clap the echo. Let's be in 3, and I'll give you 1 bar to echo. Clap, 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 clap. Dee da da. Right? Can you clap the canon? So now I won't put long notes on every downbeat. I'll play continuous. Walk the beat, clap the canon, 1 bar behind. We'll stay in 3. There you go. Can we try it just one more time? And I want to tell you, we discussed on an earlier meeting this idea between...
1 minute warning, Stephen.
I'm sorry?
1 minute warning.
Oh, 1 minute. Yep. We discussed in an early meeting about original sound versus not original sound. My not original sound was on. I apologize. I didn't have the setting. So can we do it one more time and you can hear the difference? So now I've switched my audio setting to original sound. I'm not sure how she keeps doing that. Let's fix that. There we go. And so I've got my original sound on, and let's just do one more little canon. If you can, walk the canon while you conduct, if you have the room. And if you have less room, step the beat and clap the canon. Let's be in 4. I go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Yep. Nice
Jeremy.
job, folks. Looking great out there.
Thank you. Jeremy?
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Good to see you all. I wanted to just do a quick thing to show you something. This right now that I have on my computer is a new webcam. It's called a Genius webcam, and it's full HD, and it has a 120-degree viewing window. And I just want to take a second to show it to you because I am standing right in front of my computer right now, and you can see all of me. And if I angle it down, you could actually, I can actually touch my screen, and you can still see me. This was a really helpful, I think, $60 purchase for me for teaching Eurythmics, because a lot of laptops and iPads are not really set up for full body view, but this is. There's one drawback to it, at least this particular camera has a, it doesn't have as many frames per second, so I'm gonna unplug it for just a second so you can see it. And so this is what it looks like normally. This is what my webcam looks like. So if I'm standing in that exact same spot, you just see my midsection, but you also, I think, have a slightly clearer view. This is what the camera looks like. It's very narrow, it's very slim. It just clicks right on to the back end of the computer. So I'm gonna do this today using this camera just for fun. So just so you can see what it's like to have a different type of camera. I'd like to take an idea that Stephen said from last time, which is to do a solfege activity. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do to start. And I'd like for you all to go for a walk for me, please. And just be with my music. So here we are. Nice, thank you, very good. If my music changes speed, you change speed. Good, now the music that I'm playing right now is kind of a bright nature, so keep moving forward through the space. But if my music changes color and it becomes darker, like this, I'd like for you to move backwards through the space. And what about now? Yes, now you'll be moving forward. Thank you. Good. And what about now? Thank you, backwards. Nicely done. Thank you, forwards. And now you're backwards. If it changes color one more time, it's not forwards color or backwards color. I want you to freeze. And you don't move at all. Now, I did this exact same game with some of my students. I love how most of you are frozen, which is good. But the next part I said, if it changes color again, I want you to go find your mother, and I want you to go give her a hug. Go find your mom and give her a hug. If your mom isn't with you today, give yourself a nice big hug. You can give yourself a hug. It's nice to have a hug, yes. So just give yourself a hug. But now you freeze. And what happens now? Thank you, forwards. Nicely done.
Jeremy, you have 1 more minute.
Sorry?
1 minute.
1 minute. And you can go backwards now. Thank you, Frozen. And now where's that hug? Great. And so this is a type of game that I did. It's a little solfege game that deals with hearing harmony and the 4 different types of triads, of course. And then I have a little piece of music that I did with the kids. This is a little Tonsman piece.
Sorry, Jeremy, I'm going to have to cut you off. Just
it's all good.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
love your teaching, and thank you for having more prepared. Emma?
Hi, everybody. So we had a request for a series of activities for young children. So I have a PDF that I'm going to share with you at the end of this. I'm going to take you through it. We are going to start seated on the floor. And similar to Jeremy, I've set up a second camera that I can easily switch between so that I can go to the floor and be seated with my kids, etc. So our first activity is we're going to be down low. This is for ages 3 to 6, 3 to 7. You can adjust up and down. And let me just make sure that I can see you guys. All right. So you're going to be a turtle. So show me your very best turtle. You're stuffed in your little shell. And one morning you poke your head out. And you take a look to the right and you take a look to the left. And you see a big dog and you get scared. So you go back in. Then you stick your head out again. And you take a look around and you wave to a friend on Zoom. Hello. And then you see a hawk. So you get scared and you go back in. Then you stick your head out one more time and you do one arm. You do the other arm. And you do a foot. And you wiggle your feet and your toes. And then you see a kitty cat. And go back into your shell. Then you stick out your head. One arm. Another arm. One foot. Another foot. And then you wiggle everything. And then you see a fish. Oh no. So as you can see, we can go further with this. You can do music to this. This is a lovely way to work on independence of limbs, small motor movement, large motor movement. If you're a beautiful turtle, finds a garden and decides to dig in your garden, can you get out your shovel and dig with me? Digging, digging, This is how we dig the ground in our garden, in our garden. Digging, digging. This is how we dig the ground early in the morning. I'm sleeping. Can somebody wave at me to wake me up? I'm here sleeping. And if I see a friend waving at me, and Veronica, you happen to be really big, so why don't you wave at me? Oh my goodness, thank you for waking me up. Planting, planting, this is how I plant my seeds in my garden, in my garden. Planting, planting, this is how I plant my seeds early in the morning. And we can go on from here, continuing to grow things, to eat our vegetables, to you name it, of what happens in the garden, whether a horse comes along, etc. From here, I tried this out this morning on my ages 3 to 6. We planted our seeds way down low, and we pretended like we were listening to beautiful music in our garden. Today I decided to bring my flute because I know many of you might be stuck at home without an instrument. So please be sleeping to my music, and if you hear something that interrupts your sleep, can you wake up and wave at me? Thank you. And so we practiced hearing when something interrupted us. So we are a beautiful little seed, and we're going to grow up tall. Can you show me how your seed can grow up tall? Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you so much. Stephen, I see some of us growing tall. And can you make your seed way down low on the ground again? Good. Morning glory, grow up, oh, so high. Morning glory, reach up and touch the sky. And when the sun comes out, we open wide. But when the moon comes out, we shut our eyes. Beautiful. This time,
And we have 1 minute.
can we make ourselves grow very tall indeed? So
I'm a 1 minute warning. Just so you know.
I got you. I heard you. So this time we're going to grow all the way till standing. All right. We way down low. Morning glory, grow up, oh, so high. Morning glory, reach up and touch the sky. And when the sun comes out, we open wide. But when the moon comes out, we shut our eyes. Now, if I had more time, I would do this with my flute. We could turn this into a game between digging and morning glories. Our last thing that Veronica wanted me to show you was grab a ball or a scarf or pretend, if you have it. And I've been having a lot of fun with working with materials. So if it's a scarf, you're going to do a toss catch. If it's a ball, you'll do a bounce catch. So it's time to go now, bounce, catch. Bye, bye, it's time to go now, bounce, catch. Bye, bye, it's time to go now, bounce, catch. Bye, bye, for those of you scarves. Toss, catch. See you later, toss, catch. Alligator, toss, catch. See you later. I'll see you next week. So just a few short examples of things I've been doing with my littles. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Stephen and to Jeremy and to Emma. Can we unmute and do a round of applause for them? If that will work. Horrible.
Thank you guys. It's very easy to teach for everyone.
Thank you so much. I know that took a lot of energy, and thank you for putting that out there. We're going to take 15 minutes to discuss what you saw, what that was like for you, questions or comments for our presenters. So I think you can just raise your hand and Stephen or I will call on you, or you can also type questions in the chat box. Giovanna, I saw you. Make sure you unmute.
I'm very, very happy about this because I thought it was impossible to do it. And I was so frustrated not being able to teach children live. So far, we are in the 5th week of online lesson. And it was very difficult because what I've done is just giving them exercise to do without being able to do live lesson. But now I know that we can do it. I was so worried about the synchronize of a sound. So I didn't even try to do anything with my classes. And also because they all chat one over the other. So I found it very stressful, but then now I know what you gave me power. I mean, I'm so happy. Thank you very much.
One of the things that we'll repeat from what I found very helpful on one of the first days was the idea that when starting these ideas with a new class online, we need to take some thoughtful time to just teach them about mute and camera angle and the size of the screen, so what can be seen and what cannot be seen, before we can even teach. And I thought that was both obvious but brilliant and so helpful. Who else? Does someone else have something to say? Yes, Alice, and then Leslie.
I have a technical question for Jeremy. I would like to know, and also for all of you, when I teach piano basically on Zoom, but the sound is never really good. So how can I improve that? So I was interested in this webcam. Does it have a good audio system? What can I do to enhance the quality of the piano playing?
So before Jeremy answers, I'll just say that we have in the Google Doc a couple links and write-ups of settings in Zoom that you can set that will improve your quality. And so the difference between original sound and not original sound, and compression and not compression, and background noise suppression, all of those are things where there's settings that can help. And then maybe Jeremy has some more ideas.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, there's, if you change your settings on your computer, it will make a big difference. I'm also going to give you, on Zoom for that matter, it can make a big difference. I also have an external mic that I can use. It's a Blue Yeti mic. It is not necessary though. I don't think I'm just using my regular mic and I just have the settings set what they are. I hope the sound was okay. I'm gonna start using that external mic though, because when you start to share sound through Zoom, for instance, if you have an external mic and you keep it, like, for instance, in my studio, if my camera, let's say if my computer was over where the desk is, if I put my microphone up on top of where that shelf is, where it says be nice or leave, then it will actually pick up all of the sound much better that I'm saying. And so that's something I'm going to do in the future, but for right now, it's fine. I'm also sending in the chat box two links that are some basic tutorials that Zoom puts out. And then there's another person that I found out who published a online resource for getting the most absolute professional quality sound that you can out of your system that you have. And if you wanted to start buying extra things, if you wanted to invest a little bit of money, what are the best kind of mics, etc. So feel free to check those out if they're useful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Leslie?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, I think I'm unmuted, right? I just wanted to say that moving around my apartment gave me more confidence to have my adults who are in my adult teacher training class move. It was actually fine. Like I just started them last week and I felt very reticent about that. And then I realized there's nothing wrong with doing this. This actually works. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I was similar to Giovanna. I was absolutely unconvinced that we could do almost anything in these methods. And actually, we discussed some last week how sort of wild of gesture and expression and creativity I've been able to get out of my university students. It's not as limited as I feared. Another, Loretta?
Yeah, so I teach a 3-hour Eurythmics class for college students, and once a week. So something that we've done is last week I had to address complementary rhythm, which was impossible via Zoom because of the lag time. So my son and I created a YouTube so that they could experience it, like, you know, having the right rhythm and the right filling in the holes. So that was very useful. And then we used Canvas. So I posted an audio of just the rhythm and not the complement.
Yep.
So they're going to make an audio of themselves using my audio and their clapping to fill in.
Yep.
So I'm playing with YouTube and Zoom and Canvas all at the same time, but having teaching, because I'm still teaching modern dance and ballet at the college, and it's pretty remarkable how students can still move even in their bedrooms using props and stuff.
Yep.
Moving, so it's encouraging.
Loretta, you might also look, we discussed last week the app called Acapella, which is the multi-track visual app. And I've been using that for very similar sorts of work where I have my students either work with the first track and they add themselves as the second track, or having them build multiple tracks of their multi-layered performance. So one track being the original and one track being the complement, you know, would be something that would work very well. And then we can see their physicality as well as their accuracy. And so that's been very helpful.
Okay. I'm going to just jump in because I think Guy has asked for clarification about something important. So let's just say that if you have a question or want to say something, can you type in your name in the chat box so we just get an order going? And if for some reason you can't, then wave now so that we can type you in.
Very good. Guy?
Yeah. So the Genius Cam is wonderful, and it's not available on Amazon. However, everybody who has an iPhone or an iPad can create a second camera. Zoom has an option to share your screen with an iOS device, and I'm confident that you can do this with also Android. And what this enables you to do is to set up a secondary camera, which you can angle whichever way you want. And in the workshop that I taught on Thursday, it was a 2-hour workshop. It was really handy to have that because you can have your laptop as one camera and then have your phone as a second camera capturing the entire room. And students will see both. Share screen on Zoom makes it pretty easy, and you can connect either via wirelessly, or you can connect using a wired connection.
I just want to respond to that a little bit, Guy. It is really helpful, but one of the reasons why I've connected to one device is because if you're working with littler ones, then if they want something to be big, like you to be big, they have to know how to either switch between those screens, or you have to mute or unmute whichever one is their speaker view. And that can be a little cumbersome if you're working with the younger crowd. For adults, not a big deal, they can switch themselves, etc. And the kids are catching on super fast, but for my ages, 3, 4, 5 classes, these are little ones. Parents are busy working with their kids and working with them on the activities, so I just switch between, like what you saw, sometimes successfully. I'm getting better at knowing where to angle my cameras, so I can just have a one shot.
Who else? I'm looking for hands. Or hi, Maria. You have to unmute.
I'm curious about everything is quick reaction. You can't control because they can listen to you, obviously, and they can move, but you don't know if they do something very correct or not.
Right.
Can I jump? Yeah, because you're absolutely right. You have to adjust some of your expectations. There's no way that this is going to be hard and fast, perfect. But I think the more you consider with time, space, and energy how things are working, the better off you are. Like in the activities that I did, for instance, it was very clear to me if people were correct or not. Now, mind you, there's a huge number of people on this call, so I can't see everybody. But for the classes that I teach, they're usually smaller. And so I can actually see pretty quickly what's right, what's not. And if you, like for instance, even with the complementary rhythm activity, like if you put the rhythm on your knees and they put the complement up here, you actually can calculate inside the delay, the lag time for each person, and then you actually can know if they're right or not. But I should say no. It's not hard, fast. It's like Stephen said, there has to be some trust that they're doing it correctly. But over time, you get a feel for how people are moving. It's just that it's a 1 second canon, I guess.
Yeah. And another. I'm looking for hands. Hi, Jill.
Well, is there anyone else? No.
Yeah, Jill.
I think it's really helpful the way Jeremy was calling out, oh, thank you for going forward. Oh, thank you for going backward, to sort of remind them what they should be doing. You have to pretend they're there and you're seeing what they're not doing and you help them remember to do it.
It does that. It also makes the people at home believe that we can see them. Which I've found a lot. Like I make fun of my students. If I catch a student yawning in my class, I tell everybody that, Cynthia Lilly just yawned, and then I make fun of that student for a moment as just a way to remind them that they really are open, and we can see each other, and there is some back and forth. It's really tricky. I think it's easy to believe, like, I don't know, it's such a small little window that I'm not actually communicating, but so I think Jeremy's, speaking out and complimenting or just reminding, is helpful in multiple levels.
Francoise, yeah.
Yes, Francoise.
Yes, hi. Thank you first for everything you're just showing and sharing with us. That's great. I just wanted to add some things that I'm doing by experiencing group teaching. I don't teach children, but I must say that there are some things, let's say in solfège, which I think you could do also with children and which is nice. I asked my students just to sing, let's say, sing 3 sounds. And then the next one is going to sing 3 sounds, but beginning with the last sound of the previous person, So if you have someone saying la la la, the next one is going to be la la la, and so on. And it makes people really relate to each other. And it gives a feeling of togetherness, which is great, because I don't think that we can have them sing all together. I mean, I didn't do good experiences with that, but just to make a link between all of them, and you can work quite a lot on intonation and all those things. This is the first thing I just wanted to say. The other one is that when you teach Eurythmic and you want things to be very precise, what I did was just recording my improvisation and sending them out to the students. So, well, first they heard it from me and they did it in their room for themselves. And then I sent them the music, and one after the other did the exercise in his own room, so that there was no lag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we, if anyone's interested in learning more about that, there are some people who shared other ideas for this in the past 2 meetings. 2 meetings ago, actually. So yeah, thank you for that.
And to piggyback off of that, Francoise, I've found with adults and the children, sometimes movement-wise, you can get some very interesting things happening if you do an echo game of what you just saw so-and-so do, and then you make your own next part of the movement. etc. I've seen children moving in ways that they were not comfortable to do in class, but are more so comfortable maybe because they're in their own space. And some very creative things that felt really good to see as a teacher. Thank you for that idea.
I think hi, Cynthia.
Are we to assume that at least our children's students, our young students, can see each other?
If we're in Zoom, they can see what you see if they turn on the gallery view. And
right. Do we assume they're looking for each other? I mean, I just hadn't. I don't have a sense of that yet.
I would think so, but I'll let some of the others who work with the children. Jeremy?
You just have to make suggestions. You know, just like you do in, I think for me, it's just like I do in a class. Ooh, I really like what Jill did. Oh, Giovanna just showed me this great thing with her shoulder. Everybody check out Giovanna's shoulders. Very nice, whatever it is.
So they can see. They can see each other. We have to make sure that their parents put it on gallery view, right?
I don't, especially for littles, I insist that the parents are there. And I give them things to do, like in the little activity that I did. You know, maybe the kids were moving, but then they go and find somebody and give them a hug, whoever it is. Give them something to do that's interactive, so that way they feel like they have a purpose besides just being tech support. But absolutely. The other thing you can do is say to them, okay, everybody, put yourselves on gallery view. Okay, everyone, put yourselves on speaker view. Just like you would say, okay, everybody, sit crisscross applesauce, or okay, make a line, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? It's just a new kind of classroom management.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we're getting close to the end, and we have a couple sort of wrap up notes and things we wanted to do. Does anybody else have any big questions for the group before we move to our next bit? I don't see any hands. Oh, Jill, you have one more?
Me again, yeah. I'm just wondering, is everybody doing live meetings? Nobody's recording?
No, there are some people doing different things. So, and we took some time, Veronica, was it last time or the time before? I'm getting confused now. But
the time before. So the date of that meeting, if you want to listen back, the topic was actually pre-recorded ways of teaching. That's March 24th. And I do know that some people are doing that way too.
Okay, I was just wondering if people had switched over and.
No, it's absolutely a good question.
But,
I've switched 3 times in the last 3 weeks in my school job, and as there are only 2 options, you can imagine the kind of change and flip-flopping that actually entails.
Right.
Yeah, there are advantages to each, and so it changes depending on your district and the technology that you have and what the technology your students have. So we certainly express no no opinion as to what is as one being better than the other. It really depends on the teacher and the students and the technology. So try it all. There were some great resources listed 2 weeks ago, and so you all might go back and look at the write-up of that interaction. Veronica, shall we move ahead? I think the agenda next is security.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
I would just, so there's been a lot of news articles around Zoom security, and I think it's a developing topic. The main issues are, what is Zoom doing with our user data? Is it possible for a bad actor to gain control of your webcam and turn it on when you're not aware? And also, is it possible for uninvited guests to come to your meeting? And it can be kind of innocuous, and it's called Zoom bombing, and someone just like comes in and maybe takes over your screen and says silly stuff. But it could also be serious, like if there are anti-Semitic or violent messages, or if it's pornography, God forbid, right? For children, like that is obviously some really serious security issues. So in the Google Doc, I've linked to a Guardian article and 2 New York Times articles and a Zoom blog response from the company. I would love though for someone who like maybe is part of the computer and tech security world, if they have anything to add. For now, I think it's okay to keep using Zoom, but with some caveats, and we should all read those security blogs. But if anyone wants to say something now, that would be a great time.
What our university is telling us is specifically thinking about the bombing version, that is the people who show up unannounced. And actually we experienced it yesterday, the day before, on a PhD performance review, high stakes kind of environment. Somebody just all of a sudden jumped in and started screaming obscenities, and we had to sort of reset and they started it over. So things that can keep that from happening is to set up the meeting with a password, in which case it's no harder if when you send out the link has the password embedded in it. And so the only way that that's a trouble is if you publicly post the link. So you wouldn't post the link to your public Facebook profile or Twitter feed. You would send them the password separately. But if for a closed group, you can easily just send a link that has the password if it's going out through our email list, for instance. And a second option is to make use of the waiting room, which I use regularly for half of my meetings. And so that way, if a name appears in the waiting room that you don't recognize, you don't have to let them in. So those are 2 easy things that you might all be considering. Good. Then.
Okay, so David Bewley, if you're still around, could you just say 1 sentence about the article that you shared with me, and it's in the agenda also?
Sure. Somebody sent that to me. It's a New York Times article from a choreographer, and I've forgotten the name of the writer now, actually a dance critic, but sort of noticing that sense of how people who are used to working with bodies have shown for years how we use space. And I was thinking, isn't it wonderful in those early Dalcroze classes, we're asked to explore all the spaces in the room, and we get used to negotiating those spaces and being aware of other people as we're moving through the world. So in this world of keeping 3 feet apart, we've got some good skills to use. So, but it's a lovely article, so you may want to read that too.
Thank you so much. Stephen, also 1 minute about your article. We can't hear you. Stephen, we can't hear you. You got to unmute.
Okay, let me try again. So this came to me from my good friend Kate Pakinskis, who teaches at Harvard, and she and I have a regular conversation going. And if we just read it together, I shared this with my university students this morning. She says, a therapist friend said, I finally understood why everyone's so exhausted after the video calls. It's the plausible deniability of each other's absence. Our minds tricked into the idea of being together when our bodies feel we're not. Dissonance is exhausting. It's easier being in each other's presence or in each other's absence than in the constant presence of each other's absence. Our bodies process so much context, so much information in encounters that meeting on video is being a weird kind of blindfolded. We sense too little and can't imagine enough. That single deprivation requires a lot of conscious effort. So my students who are struggling, these are 20-year-olds who are accustomed to trying to learn through, by being on campus and being with each other and being in these routines, and they've spent some years getting good at that. Now all of a sudden have been sent to their 4 corners like we have, and we're all, somewhat surprised at how tiring it all is. And what I wanted to tell them today was that they're partly tired because they're working really hard, and they're partly tired because they're sad, but they're also partly tired because the kind of teaching we're trying to do assumes that we are together, and yet physically we feel like we're not. And it takes a lot of extra effort to overcome that. And so just noticing that, or trying to note that for my students, and for myself, I thought was really, I don't know, helpful. Just trying to point out that there's more than one reason that we're exhausted here.
Thank you so much. I'm going to zoom through these announcements so that we can end on time, and then we're happy to stay after for a few minutes if people want to chat. Thank you so much for forwarding this and inviting others. The best way for you to invite other people is to forward them the email newsletter that I send out, and then also make sure that I get their email address. So a lot of people who didn't get an email directly from me have already typed in their address in the chat. But if you have not done that yet, you need to add your email here so that I can add you to the mailing list, and you can do it privately if you'd like, just to me. And so if you've already gotten emails from me, then you're on the mailing list, so that's fine. But it's your work and your sharing that grows this group, and it's your colleagues and your friends who benefit. So we appreciate if you can share. Our next meeting is Tuesday, April 21st, same time as right now. We're open to suggestions, so if you could type them in the chat box, like if you'd like more practice teaching, or if like of people presenting, or if you'd like a specific topic for us to discuss and find presenters who are willing to share. If you have something you want to share and present, we're open to that as well. Anyone is welcome to edit the Google Doc. It has our agenda, it has our recordings from past meetings, it has audio and video, and now notes from our past meetings. So it also has resources that were shared in the past. And if you have anything else that you want to add to the group, we'll be kind of taking everything from the chat here that people shared and dumping them in the doc. You're welcome to add to it any time, or just email us individually and we'll get it added. Just takes a little bit longer that way. And if there are any questions about logistics, feel free to let us know now. But thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Veronica, for all of your organizing and thoughtful work. Veronica and I will stick around for a couple minutes just to say hi to anybody who wants to say hi. But I think our meeting is officially closed, the meetup. And so have a very good week, and maybe we will see you back in 2 weeks for our next meeting. Thank you so much. And so wonderful to see so many new friends and old friends. Maria, so wonderful to see you. And Jared, I saw you, and Monica, so exciting. Hi, Erin and Maddie. Greg, so wonderful to see you. And Chase, I hope you're doing
Aaron Butler made it. I'm so awesome.
Yes, Aaron Butler.
Aaron, do you have a question?
I do.
Hi, Laura.
This is the question. Do we go to Google Docs to download the chat or some of the things in the chat? Is that how we get to the chat?
I will post the chat after the meeting. So
yes, it will be in the Google Doc.
I'll post it to the Google Doc. So it won't be there right this minute, but it will be there within 24 hours.
Oh, that's good. And the Google Docs, the address for that is in one of your emails, right?
Yeah, it's in every single email I send. It's also the same agenda document that I posted here in the chat. Good question, thank you.
In the chat, I put the little lesson plan that I did today with the songs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Dawn is here, but that first activity is a Dawn Pratzen activity. And if there's anybody I didn't credit for anything in there, I pulled from a lot of lovely colleagues.
It was lovely.
Melissa?
A suggestion?
Yes, hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great, I got my sound working. Sorry to my my breakout room folks, because it wasn't working before. Yeah, I just wanted to say that this has been very interesting because I haven't had an opportunity to do any kind of Delcros class online, and basically right now I've just been teaching like Zoom piano lessons, like one-on-one, and like a few group classes, like just with keyboard, and I haven't tried Eurythmics yet. But I just wanted to say from my own experience that just today is that I felt less exhausted because I was moving. And I think that's really informative for me. And also I felt like when I'm doing, you know, when I teach piano lessons, I'm often playing with my students. You know, we do duets, we improvise, we do things together, and you really can't do that in this context, you know. But I felt felt everyone moving with me.
Yeah, it really makes a
That
difference.
was really nice. Even though I'm sorry, Stephen, even though I felt like, okay, we weren't necessarily in the same time space, but we were in a movement space together. And that was encouraging. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I wanted to just really quickly share something that I started to do this week that might be useful for folks. And it has to do with the sharing the screen on the, like when you do your share screen business. I have my iPad here, and we've talked about like how you can use an iPad with a pencil and things like that. But something that I did that was helpful that deals with some of the security issues has to do with the chat box. Because what I've been told is that some of the issues regarding security have to do with how Zoom handles the chat. But it also has to do with what I did with one of my classes, which was I opened up a score on my iPad, and I opened it up on using Notability. I don't know if you know what Notability is, but it's a kind of just a note-taking app that you can have. And through the note-taking app, I was able to like take all of the notes that I put on my whiteboard and just keep a scroll of them, and then I could send them out to them at the end. I could just put everybody's email and just send it. So it was separate from the chat box, and it made it so it was easier for them to receive it and for me to kind of track it. So I just wanted to share that's something that I did this week that seemed to work pretty well with my college students. So if that's at all useful to you, there you have it.
What is it called again? Notability?
Notability. Mm-hmm. But there are others note-taking applications out there. This one is technically paid. I think it's like $5 a month or something, but you can get them that are free. And so, just search for a note-taking app. But mine is nice because it allows you to send email. So.
Sounds good.
Very good. Anything else we can do for the good of the crowd? Anybody else? It's just fun to hang out with.
I just have one little question.
Yeah.
I do have some little children whose parents don't want to do screen time. And I'm like, well, turn the screen around and let them listen to the class. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that short of going to their apartment. Has anyone else had that issue with littles?
I can speak to that a little bit. We've had a few families who have not wanted to do more screen time than what they might already be required to do for school. Okay. We are recording each one of our classes, so we've offered to, that they can have access to that if they would like. The parent would like to watch it and then teach them the game. We also have recorded short clips of us doing the song, so they could just listen to it if they would like to. For us, the easier option obviously is to record the class so we don't have to do twice the work, and then they can watch it or listen to it how they choose to. But it's also definitely informed me saying what we're going to do next, a little bit more like from the Heather Gel standpoint of things, like now we're going to pretend to be X, Y, and Z, so that I make sure that on that recording that I'm sending that I have all the verbal directions that they might need because they can't see me necessarily. So that is one option that we've come up to, but what I've found really interesting, even for my class for 3 to 6-year-olds that I just taught this morning, there's a certain amount of time. It's about 20 to 25 minutes that feels good for them, and then they're ready to be finished. So I tell parents, if you only want to do a little bit of screen time, come to the first 20 minutes of class. We'll do a lot of movement, we'll do a lot of warming up our bodies, we'll get to make some music together, and then I'll have a point where I say, okay, now's a good time if we need to take a break, For those of you who are staying on, stay on. And some parents have felt a little bit better about that, and we want to respect the amount of time people want to do on screen, but they've also been missing their friends, we find. So they've come back.
Thanks, that's a good idea. Thank you.
All right. Oh, is that a hand, Jill?
So nobody's getting a request for more? My preschooler families are like, only 20 minutes? I'm like, yeah, that's all.
It's a nice, nice compliment. I'm sure it's because of the great work that you're doing.
All right. Okay, and you all agree that the parents have to be there. I love that.
I do, but I will say my classes are 45 minutes for my, for my 4 to 6s. I've just kept it at 45 minutes.
Wow.
And again, it challenges, I guess, a little bit of how we use the space and the kinds of activities that I do with them. But I think at the end of the day, it's probably good for all of us, you know, as teachers. I mean, it's tiring to plan for, I suppose, but it's what it is. My older kids, my 6 to 14-year-olds in the rhythmic solfege sequence, they all meet for an hour. And my late middle school, early and high school kids, they meet for 75 minutes. So I just kept everything the same so that way I could keep as much regularity in the lives of the students. What I would suggest is do your class and then just say, you know what, I feel like it's probably time for us to be done today. And just reserve the right to end early if that's what you're seeing, you know.
And I also have been keeping my length the same. I've just been now organizing my planning so that if somebody needs a break at 20 to 25 minutes, there's a natural break that happens a little bit in my planning. But I just started trying that out after conversations from yesterday of teaching, of saying, okay, so for some of the littles it's a little too much, so I'll make an activity break that happens here so that parents will know when we go to work with the xylophone, that's your time to leave if you need to go. And so I just planned it and gave the parents the cue that they needed to know when it was a good time to say goodbye. And Rhett kind of had a little cadence at that point in the class. But we've also opened up some other offerings for kids if they wanted to be able to, you know, come to another class later in the week, for example, if they felt that they wanted review or needed more time.
Anyone else?
I was going to just add, I do Facebook Live, and I have kids on every day. Like if I have 4 toddler classes 4 mornings, some kids are there. I guess you can't hear me. Am I muted?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. No, I just did them on Facebook Live because I knew that, and I could start instantly. And I have like a toddlers group, and they can come every day. Like they can come as many times as they want, and they can watch it later and see. In my situation, a lot of parents are working from home, and they don't have a device to do something at 10 a.m. Like there's 2, mom and dad are both, you know, working from remote location at home, so they can watch it later. They can watch as many times as they want. They can come a different day. So everybody in certain age groups are in groups, and they can come whenever they want. So they're actually getting more classes, little, so I'm like.
Very good. Kristen, did you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm so delighted to be here. It's so nice to see so many of you. Just a quick technical question about Zoom, and I might just be late in the game here. I don't know if you've covered the music setting that one of my students recommended I look into because there was echoing and all this delay. And
yeah, so in our Google Doc, there's a number of places where we have links and we have descriptions of settings you can make in your Zoom preferences. There's also been a conversation almost every one of these meetings about microphones and placement of the mic. So there's a number of things you can do that can clean it up quite a bit.
Cool. I will catch up.
So yeah, so definitely go back, and we'll have the transcript and the video for today posted within the next day or so. And so you'll be able to find some nice resources even just from today, but we covered that a fair bit on the first meeting. So go back to the Google Doc and check it out. And then if you have questions, definitely reach out.
Thank you.
So,
Erin, go ahead.
oh, Erin, I can't hear you. So it looks like you're unmuted in Zoom, but maybe there's another setting somewhere on your computer to turn your microphone on. Or, yeah. So I see you're unmuted there, but it still seems silent.
Do it now.
Is this good?
There you go. Good job.
All right. There was some, there's Maddie. There was so questions for more content. and I love the Facebook Live idea from Leslie that lets them go back and watch it again. What I've been doing is recording classes with Maddie and my daughter Sage, and then we've been putting them up on YouTube, which means all of my families can watch them, but you can watch them, you can share them, whatever it is, they're out there, and we're doing like once a week.
That's wonderful. Aaron, would you put the link to your main page, your YouTube link, in the chat, and we will include it with our recorded options. We compiled a number of links like that 2 meetings ago. We'll put you on that same list. And everybody else, if you're looking for examples of some exceptional pre-recorded classes, we had Anthony Molinaro share some things. We had a number of nice things that we put together there. So by all means, go back and look. You can stay. I have to go to the next meeting, but you by all means stay and keep saying hi. I'll see everybody soon.
Thank you, Stephen. I can stay for about 5 more minutes and then I will end this meeting because I'm the host now. Anyone else? Cynthia.
Just a quick question about xylophones. This is really for Emma. And I don't know if other of you use them. I am so used to using them in my live classroom. Do you have a cheap source that you can get your parents to make sure kids have something like a xylophone?
Yes, I can send you some. I mean, they are not as lovely as obviously the $5 or $10 instruments that we can buy. They are plastic with a case. I'll grab one in a second and just visually show you.
Yeah, you can just send it.
And I'll send you information.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I will tell you right now that there's been some successful things and unsuccessful things that I've tried with xylophones for my kids who are using them, and we've already been using them as part of our solfege classes in the rhythmic solfege classes from the DSR, ages 6 through 14. It works beautifully. We have a lot of opportunities for solos. We can learn new things. We're used to the flow of things. My little guys, I've done a lot of experimenting, and so I can share some of those ideas in one of our future ones. But they do really enjoy the xylophone time, even when they can't participate in the same way. So I will send information out.
I would actually, since Jeremy and Anthony both brought theirs, can you guys play them so we see what this, because they're really high pitched, and I would love to hear what they sound like over Zoom. I don't know who can win this game first.
It also depends on the type of mallet that you have. So like the mallets that it comes with, these are hard plastic. So it has kind of a pinchy sound, but if you can get one that has like a softer rubber, the sound to me is remarkably different.
So Jeremy, to me, in a quick test right now, they sounded pretty similar. Could you do it again, the 2 tests, so we can all have a chance to hear?
All right, hold on. You know what? It's because I'm playing on my lap. It's oh goodness. So so that's with a softer rubber mallet, and then that is the hard plastic one.
Okay, so is anyone else hearing the 5th of that scale as being really sharp on their Zoom? Okay, a few people are nodding. So that's another strange thing. Adriana.
Because I have the same one here, and when I play it, it doesn't seem like that in person, but what I'm hearing, Jeremy, is interestingly sharp on number 5.
Okay, let's call on Adriana and then Anthony. Adriana, make sure you unmute. We can't hear you. Okay, that sounded, thank you.
Cynthia, that was the one I was going to tell you that's still available online. The ones with the black and the white notes that Jeremy and I are playing are tricky to find right now.
But the one that Adriana played is
14, $15 on Amazon.
And that one sounded in tune to me.
Just so you know, mine is not out of tune on my end. I think that it's just there's some pitches. Yeah. This is one of the things that's unfortunate, and that link that I sent to you, one of the things that he does is he goes through instruments specifically to say, if you play the flute, these are the sound settings that you should consider. If you play the cello, these are sound settings that you should consider. And of course, he has them for piano too. So it just kind of depends.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to speak? So 1 more minute. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, Lori, go ahead. Lori,
I have an external microphone, and I have. Can you hear me? Yeah, so I have an external microphone, and I have a soft mail that Marilyn was talking about. So I was playing for a second if you want to hear that. So I'm not sure how that sounded to you guys, but feedback is kind of interesting too for me.
Thank you, Lori. All right, everybody, we will see you not next week, but the following week on Tuesday. And keep inviting your friends. Take care. Thank you.